Okay. Peace of mind? I have no peace of mind. I've had no peace of mind since we lost America. Forests as old as the world itself, meadows, plains, strange, delicate flowers, immense solitudes, and all the nature new to art. All ours, mine, gone, a paradise lost. Those are the words of King George III from the movie The Madness of King George. Except for the part about losing America, that statement is how I feel a lot. Peace of mind, he says, I have no peace of mind. And this is how I feel. King George was believed to have had porphyria, the same disease I have today. He went mad, which is one of the many side effects of having porphyria. Sometimes I think the only thing keeping me half sane is the mercy of God. Because without God, I think I would go mad like King George too. Maybe not the same way, but porphyrias are a group of rare genetic blood disease. While most are inherited, some are acquired. There are 8 different types of porphyria. Some are acute, while others solely affect on the skin. The 8 different types of porphyria are acute intermittent porphyria, or AIP, hereditary porphyria, or HCP, a lab porphyria, or ADP, variegate porphyria, or VP, porphyria retarda, or PCT, and the rest I can't pronounce, so I'm just going to say the initials, EPP, CEP, or HEP. And the one I have is hereditary porphyria, HCP, and that's one of the acute ones. The term porphyria is taken from the Greek word porphyrus, which means purple or purple pigment, because when a person suffering from porphyria has their urine tested and it's held up to sunlight, it turns purple. Porphyria is just one of the many rare genetic diseases out there. All rare diseases are taken way too lightly, and it is my duty to educate the best I can on the disease so that I can help teach others that rare diseases should not be taken so lightly. I am one of those people who have stayed in the doctor's office and have been told that I have a rare genetic blood disease. It is frustrating living with any disease, let alone a rare one. People do not understand what you're going through when they never heard of the disease. It is a constant and hard battle. The symptoms you face can overwhelm you. When a disease can come with so many different symptoms and no cure and very little relief in taking medicine, it is a constant fight. Acute porphyrias, like the one I have, can have some very serious symptoms. The main symptoms for the type that I have are the nervous problems and stomach problems. Stomach problems are best represented by the statement that I use to explain to the doctors how bad it hurt, because there are truly no words to explain the pain. I used to tell them that they feel like 1,000 stabbing knives in my insides, carving out my insides, my stomach, because it literally felt like 1,000 stabbing knives. Other symptoms range from vomiting, neuropathy, mental disturbances, personality changes, muscle weakness, seizures, anxiety, depression, hallucinations, paranoia, cardiac arrhythmias, and tachycardia. Those are just a few examples of the symptoms of a person with porphyria can face. Porphyria can also affect the skin. Extreme sensitivity to sunlight can occur, blisters, and all sorts of things. In females that have porphyria, the menstrual cycle can bring on a porphyria attack. Having a blood disease and having excess blood, having excess bleeding at the same time is never a good thing. I have spent countless hours half conscious, throwing up on myself, dizzy, disoriented, and in extreme pain throughout all of my body just from my menstrual cycles. In my opinion, women who have porphyria seem to have worse symptoms because of the examples I gave. For example, one time when this happened to me, I was at the doctor's office for some reason that I cannot remember at the time, and my blood pressure fell really low, and I became half conscious. I was barely able to communicate with the doctor, so I was sent to the emergency room and admitted to the hospital just because of my menstrual cycle. And if you can imagine that, just because of that, that's just how bad the disease can get, even worse. Those are just a few examples. If I wanted, I could truly tell you horrific stories of porphyria or the times I was in the doctor's, and believe me, none of them were pleasant. I could also tell you more horrific tales of the pain that I feel daily. We often hear the phrase 1 in a million, or there's only a slight chance that you might have this, or it is very rare. Words such as these often become repetitive to me because in my family, we hear these words often. 1 in a million, 1 in 500, 1 in 25,000, you get the picture. These are all words that I've heard time and time again. Well, we can't understand it. Only 1 in 50,000 get this. How did you get this? Are often phrases I hear from the doctor. According to Wikipedia about porphyria, it is estimated that 1 in 25,000 Americans has porphyria, and for people in the entire world, 1 in 500 to 1 in 50,000 people get porphyria. I love it when they say only this and only that amount of people get this disease. I want to start laughing and say, well, if it's rare and only so many out of a billion can get it, then my family probably has it. Statistics can't verify what a person has or how probable it will be for that person to get a genetic blood disease or genetic disease in general. Statistics can have a whole new meaning for someone with a rare disease. Throughout the years, there are many famous people who have been thought to have had porphyria. Such people are King George III, Mary Queen of Scots, and it's even thought that Vincent van Gogh may have had it. King George III is known for suffering mental illness. It is believed he has had porphyria, as King George eventually went completely mad during the end of his life. While much is not known about these famous people's diseases, from the symptoms they suffered, it is believed that it was porphyria. While it's not quite a fact, it still makes you think. People throughout the entire world suffer from porphyria or a rare disease. Many people throughout the entire world can suffer from porphyria or another rare disease. But little is known about these diseases, and most people have never even heard of them, and most of them have no cure. Porphyria, in conclusion, porphyria is a rare genetic blood disease and is made up of 8 different types of porphyrias. It includes hundreds of symptoms and special care. People need to become aware that rare diseases do exist. They are painful, they are deadly, and there is no cure for many of them. I would love for people to know how much of an impact rare diseases have on the people who have them. And here is a slideshow I made. Start it up. Oh, it's supposed to go to the next one. Okay, this is the lady at the American Porphyria Foundation. That's the lady, that's Chematin. That's something they give for really bad porphyrias. And that's someone that's like them researching more research. That's Dr. Anderson and another doctor. He's considered a porphyria specialist. He's the one he's in Texas, and he's the one who originally diagnosed what type I had. I had to do all this stuff and like put in the special type packaging and FedEx it to him. This is them in the lab, like testing for stuff. And that's porphyria. That's there's a book called Porphyria or Porphyria's Level. Well, that's actually a different book. Anyways, I just liked her because she's like, and it's how you feel, you want to scream. That's Mary Queen of Scots. That's King George's signature. That's King George. That's the madness of King George movie picture. And that's the end. Okay, and this here is my porphyria test results. You can't see them, so I'm just going to tell you about it. It just has like a bunch of like, goes down and it says like urine, plasma, erythrocyte, whatever, feces and all that. It tells the different types of porphyria and the different range, and honestly some of it I can't really understand. That's why below in the comments it says these results taken together are considered diagnostics of for hereditary copa porphyria HCP, and it goes on to tell. But one thing that I did notice, it says total porphyrins, and like it tells how much I have. It tells a range, and I'm thinking the range for, like, everybody has porphyrins in their blood, and I'm thinking the normal range is 0 to 300. My porphyrins was 3,074, so that's really, really high. So that's just about porphyria, and I know this is all crinkled up because I've had it forever, but that's that. That's my speech. Yay!